we have something called alternate snapshot folder. So what alternate snapshot folder this option does is sometimes publisher it sends the snapshot files to a particular location. That location might not be accessible to the subscriber. So what you may have to do, you may have to zip the snapshot, whatever the contents, the snapshot files, and put it into the alternate snapshot folder and specify that alternate snapshot folder in the subscriber. Let's see that option where it is. I'm not going to show in detail. You can try it. Okay, so this is the first publication. You see that here snapshot, it is going to generate the snapshot in this folder. Okay, so let's go to that folder. You can see this is that folder. Let's say you have the subscriber here. You see yeah, this is that subscriber. Go to the properties, you will see the snapshot location, default location. Since the subscriber instance is on the same server, the C drive, whatever this drive is still accessible to the subscriber. But think about it, if the subscriber instance is on a different server altogether, physical server, then probably in the C drive, whatever the location that we have given in the publication, it will not be accessible. So you have to specify something like, I think I might have told you in previous videos, you have to say distributor server name backslash some share folder, right? You have to specify that. Let us say this share folder it is not accessible to subscriber. So in that case, what you do, it is very much possible. For example, think about it, publisher and subscriber, they are not in the same domain. What do, right? So how do you send the snapshot files to the subscriber in that case? So for, there might be some shareable location, shareable share folder where both servers can access. Okay, there could be something like that. So in that case, you have to zip all the snapshot files into that shareable location and specify that shareable location here. Here, okay, you specify alternate folder and you specify that some different server, okay, share folder. Oops, okay, I think I messed up. Different server share folder. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to copy all the snapshot files in this share folder. Make sure you create UNC folder. Okay, it will check for the UNC folder in that path. Okay, UNC, and then you put all the this file, this okay, this one. Okay, you copy this folder, put it in this folder, in this location. Okay, and what you have to do, you have to copy this folder and go to this this path. Okay, and copy this folder in this location. So you should be able to, then subscribers should be able to read the snapshot files from the share folder and apply the files on the subscriber to initialize. Okay, so if you are working in same domain, then probably you can give access to that particular share folder for the subscriber. Okay, so sometimes subscriber publisher, they're not in the same domain, or they cannot access certain share folders. So you might have to use the alternate folder. Okay, so that is one thing. Let's see if there is anything else that we need to cover. I think customer table, right? Here you see there is one column. What I'm going to do, alter table customer, add last name varchar 50. I added. So since we said schema changes should be replicated, this is partition DB. Okay. Oh, sorry. I think I added in the subscriber. I should not be doing that. I have to add that in the publisher. Okay. Let's change the connection to publisher. Partition DB, and now I add this column. Okay. When I add this column, let's go to customer last name. The column is there. This is that publication partition DB. You can see that replicate schema changes. So whatever the schema changes that you make, it will get replicated. So now if I go to subscriber, refresh the columns. Oops. Yeah, I know what the problem is, because last time we got a problem. One of the update statement, it could not apply that update statement. So this replication got stuck at that update statement. So let's take a look at and fix that problem. You see that here, this is the transaction number. Copy that number. Okay, copy that number. Go to distributor. Command ID is 1. So execute this command. You copy this transaction sequence number. So what is the publisher database ID? 5, article ID 1, command ID 1. So everything else is same. Okay, so this is that. So it couldn't update this particular row. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to delete this row from the distributor. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Let's copy this number. Command ID, this is that one, right? Command ID is 1. So yeah, this is fine. If I execute this, that particular row is now. Verify one more time. There are no more rows. Okay, so the now replication should be able to, it should be running fine now. Okay, let's see where is this push subscription or pull subscription. This is what publication partition DB replication, right? You can see that here, partition DB replication. So partition DB replication, so this is push subscription. So you should see the distributor agent job in the distributor. You can see this is the distributor. Okay, we are in distributor. Select the jobs. You go here. You see where is that partition DB, distribution agent, LawGrader. Yeah, now it's running fine. So now we should be able to see that. Yeah, one transaction, 16 commands were delivered. It also said a DDL change has been replicated. So I think if you go to the subscriber, refresh here, you will see that last name. Okay, the schema changes have been replicated. So you can do the schema change. You don't need to reinitialize the target. You can replicate the schema changes like this, but not all schema changes are supported. You have to test it properly to see the schema changes are supported in your test environment. You don't want to test a particular change in the production. If you mess up, you might end up reinitializing the target, wasting a lot of time there. That is one thing. Let's see if there is anything else we need to cover. Articles, filters, snapshot there is something called for example, if you specify a script here, after applying the snapshot you can execute this script. For example, see here, we did not specify in the subscription. Let's go to article. Are we replicating non-clustered index? No, right? What you can do, you can create non-clustered index in a file, SQL file, and specify that SQL file here. Then what it does, when it generates a snapshot, it will copy that file, put it in the snapshot folder. See here, there are two snapshots that are created, right? When you create a SQL file, the SQL file will get copied here. This SQL file will be executed against the target server. So when the snapshot is applied, whatever the SQL script that you get, it will be simply executed against the subscriber. Okay, so this is the place you specify that. Sometimes you might want to create some constraints, create non-cluster indexes, whatever you want, because at the time of snapshot, when you create a snapshot, you don't want snapshot to create the non-cluster index before it loads the data. If you see the snapshot, it creates the schema, it creates the indexes, then finally it dumps the data. You don't want to create the indexes and dump the data, it will take some time. Okay, so you don't want to create, you just create the cluster index, which is fine. After that you want to just load the data, all the data you just load it, and finally you want to apply the snapshot, non-cluster index. There is no way to specify that. If you say I wanted to replicate non-cluster index in the snapshot here in the articles, okay, if you specify I wanted to replicate non-cluster index, then it will create the non-cluster indexes here before it dumps the data. So the only way is, I think the better way is, you can create a SQL file and put that SQL file here. Okay, so then after loading the data, it will execute that file. Okay, so you can create non-cluster indexes, constraints, whatever you wanted to do. Okay, do some massaging, transformation, whatever, do it. Okay, put that script here. Similarly, before applying the snapshot, if you wanted to run anything, do anything, you can create a SQL script and put it here. I don't want to demonstrate that, it is because it is simple to do. I think that's pretty much it. These are self-explanatory. You can read it and understand. No big deal. Allow pull subscriptions to true. We have seen initialize from backup files. Replicate schema changes. I think that's pretty much it. The queued updatable subscriptions, I would say avoid it. First of all, I don't know about this updatable subscriptions because I never played with it. Moreover, if I needed to send the changes from the subscriber to publisher, I use merge or peer-to-peer. But this is something you can use it. Still, it is there. Updatable subscriptions. Those are the options here. So there are some options here. Independent attachable subscription database. Seriously, I don't know this option. What is this? Allow non-SQL server. Maybe if you are using Oracle database or MySQL database as subscriber, probably you may have to enable this. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the subscriber to see if there is anything else we can discuss. There is nothing much. All right, I think there is nothing much here. Okay, let's see if there is anything else we need to cover. You can see that there are some catalog views. So let's copy this catalog views. Sometimes you may need it. I connected to the publisher. You can see that here I have connected to the publisher. So if I execute this against the database, and I'll get list of publications against the database. Okay, so you can create any number of publications. Okay, I think there is a limit, but generally speaking, you can create as many publications you want. It doesn't matter how many publications you create, but it will create just one LawGrader for that database. You have to remember that. Just because it is going, every publication is going to use the same LawGrader. If you create too many subscriptions, too many publications, your distribution database might grow bigger. So you have to keep that in mind. But if you put all the articles in one publication, it might be, it might not be a good idea either, because sometimes you don't want to put a bigger table in smaller table publication. You can put all small tables in one publication, big tables in another publication. So sometimes it will be difficult to debug, or it will be an issue if one big table has some issues that will stop the other small tables. So this is the catalog view you can use to see what is the publication. Let's execute all these things. What are the subscriptions? It will show subscription here, subscription detail, server name, and subscription type 0, all those things. And articles, what are the articles? dbo.cust, that's a table. Okay, you can see that here destination table cust, and there should be dbo somewhere. You will see that destination owner. So there is one subscription. So basically you can use catalog views to see what are the articles, okay, what are the tables, and sometimes you might want to know is this a table, a published table, part of replication. Okay, then you have to come to the article table, because that's where you have to search. Similarly, you can execute this against any of the replication database. You will see the information there. Okay, all right. Since it has two articles, it has it listed as 2 here. So you can use this catalog views for browsing some information. Let's see if there is anything else. Okay, so LawGrader.history, there is something you may have to learn. LawGrader.history. Let's go to distributor, system tables. Okay, distribution database, system tables. LawGrader.history. You see that here, whatever the LawGrader for this database, sorry, not for a particular database, all the LawGraders will be logged here. Okay, for example, let's say you have a LawGrader here, right? I think this might be a LawGrader. I think this might be running. This LawGrader is running, right? Let's stop this LawGrader and let's see. You see that here process was successfully stopped. That means one of the LawGrader is stopped. So you may have to browse this table to look for some errors. If you see run status equal to 2, then you may have to send an email to DBS. Hey, LawGrader is successful. LawGrader is stopped. It's a problem. Or LawGrader, it's trying to connect to the database, source database. Okay, source database, it couldn't connect. You will see a different run status 3. You may want to use this table to send alert emails to DBS. Okay, so so basically you have to go through the LawGrader history. Okay, every LawGrader will log some details here. For example, you start this, come here and take a look at, hey, now the initializing, validating, starting the agent. Now let's stop. This is the Partition DB LawGrader. Okay, let's stop this one. Now let's see what it says. Process was successfully stopped. Okay, run status 2. Agent ID is fine 5. Okay, that's a different agent. This is a different agent. You may have to see, okay, this agent is stopped. Send an email to DBA. You can do that. Now let's see if there is anything else we can look. Similarly, you see that here LawGrader history, distribution history. You have snapshot history. So distribution history, if you take a look at it, distribution agent job, it might throw some errors. You can see here. You see that here run status is 6. That means it failed. Error, the row was not found at the subscriber. If you see this run status, then probably you might want to send an email alert to the DBS. Okay, error ID 29. Error ID 29. You can convert this to timestamp, and you can send this message. See the agent ID, right? Agent ID is 8. So agent, where is that agent? Agent. Snapshot. What is that? Oh, distribution agent, right? Distribution agent 8. So 8 is this agent. So you can say, you can join this this table and this table on agent ID and get the agent name and say that, hey, this agent name is having errors. This is the error message, and this is the time that it errored out. Okay, you can send some good information to the DBS, right? So there are if distribution agent jobs, it can log the history. LawGrader agent, snapshot agent, all the agents, it keeps logging what is going on. Okay, in general, if there is an error, for example, you can come to this table and here you can say order by time descending. Okay, you can see that here there are a bunch of errors. You can read this table and loop through if there are any errors. For last 2 hours, are there any errors? Yeah, bunch of errors. Okay, you can look for the error code 20598. Okay, that is one, and there is another error. You see that here, process could not execute some REPL commands. That means one of the LawGrader, it could not execute the replication command on the source database. The reason, one of the database, Partition DB, it didn't have the database owner. That is why it was failing. The moment we gave the database owner, it started executing fine. So that was this error. Okay, so you can browse this error and send an email to DBA. Okay, so see here, cannot execute as a database principal DBO, blah blah blah. This is a good amount of information. So there are plenty of error messages that are getting logged into the replication error table. So you can loop through this table from the last 2 hours and send an email to DBA. Okay, publication access, or MS publication articles. Yeah, you can. There are a lot of replication agent, the distribution agent tables. You can browse these tables and create some alerts. Okay, so otherwise you can also use the alerting mechanisms here. You can see that here, agents, warnings. You can create some alerts here. If there is something going on, you can send an email. Okay, so you can configure alert. So okay, so if this alert happens, what do you want to do? Response, notify operators, execute some job, right? So you can create SQL Server agent alerts if something is going on. If some errors are getting logged, you can create an alert. So otherwise you can create your own custom alerts. I think that's pretty much it. And when to find out what is the last successful transaction that got replicated, you can use this this table. I think I told you before. This is the last successful transaction that got replicated into the Partition DB table. Okay, so if there is an you can simply browse. you can browse the ms repl commands table greater than this timestamp. How many transactions, how many commands are in the queue waiting to get replicated? I got an error and the replication is stopped because of that error, and how many commands are waiting? Okay, of course you can go here and you can see that here. You just double click, you see the undistributed commands. You can find that information here, but programmatically you can browse distribution.dbo.ms repl commands greater than this transaction sequence number. The transaction timestamp is same as the transaction sequence number. Okay, so if you say greater than this sequence number, you will get list of commands. Those are the commands that needs to be distributed, that needs to be sent to the subscriber. So this is one useful table. So that's pretty much it. Whatever I know, I told you. There is plenty of information. Okay, so if you are generating the snapshot, okay, you see that here there are a bunch of file, right? You see that here. Sometimes if the table is huge, let us say 100 million rows or 200 million rows table, what BCP does, it partitions the table. It creates a bunch of files. It doesn't generate by default one big file for the data. You see that here, this is schema, this is I don't know what is this, yeah, some garbage. Okay, this is the schema. Okay, it will first create the table. Okay, drop the table if it exists, create the table and create the index, okay, the cluster index, and then dump the data. That is what it does. Okay, but if it is 100 million rows or 500 million rows table, then it creates some bunch of files. It won't put all 100 million rows in one file. It creates 10 million like that. It will partition the table. You can say don't partition, just put all in one. Okay, you can specify the batch size in the LawGrader. For example, there are plenty of operations. If you open the LawGrader agent, for example, where is that LawGrader agent? See, this is LawGrader agent, right? So open the agent profile. You see that here, this is the default agent profile. You see, okay, what is my batch size? See, batch size is 500. I am reading batch size 500. Query timeout. Okay, polling interval, how frequently I go and retry. Okay, login timeout and all those things. If you think you need to modify these parameters, do it. Okay, no issues. But generally these are good. Unless you have some specific issue going on, you talk to Microsoft or you figure out from the Google. Okay, Google is a big brother. It can help you a lot with many errors. Okay, if lot of people suggest, okay, change this value to something else, that might improve your performance. You can optimize in a better way. Yeah, this is the place to change it. Okay, you can change whatever the options in the agent profile. It behaves differently. All right, you have some warnings here. Tracer token, sometimes you might want to find out if there is a latency between publisher to distributor or distributor to subscriber. You have latency. Okay, so you want to find out what is going on, who is causing the delay, like that. So other than that, there is nothing much here in this screen. Let's see if we have anything else to discuss in the cheat sheet. I think that's pretty much it for the transactional replication. In the next video, we will look into peer-to-peer replication. I think there is one more thing we wanted to cover. Okay, the cleanup jobs. You see that here, the cleanup jobs. One thing you have to make sure: do you have distribution cleanup job? I remember in one of the server that I set up the replication, it did not have the distribution cleanup job. Distribution cleanup job is very much important. It is really required. When you set up the distribution, you see that here, this is the distribution database. Okay, let's take a look at the tables, system tables. You see that here, 934. Whatever the LawGrader agent, we have 3 publications. That means we have three publications against 3 different database. That means for every database one LawGrader. So we have totally we have 3 LawGraders that are running. So LawGraders will keep reading the log records, the changes from the source database log file, and keep writing into REPL commands and REPL transactions table. So these two tables will grow really bigger. If you don't clean up, you might this database will be really huge. Of course, you will come to know at one point of time whatever the drives that this database is residing on, that drive will become full. You will automatically get an email, or your distribution job will stop, your LawGrader will stop. It says I cannot write any more records into MS-REPL commands and MS-REPL transaction, some error. You will fix it. Okay. So when you set up replication, you have to make sure you have this where is that the distribution cleanup job. Okay, it is running, and you have proper retention policies. Okay, if you go to distribution agent job, the distributor properties, you see that here transaction retention and history retention. So history retention, so history will be deleted after 48 hours, and transactions will be deleted after 72 hours. Okay, so you have just make sure those are running, the job is running. Okay, so you can see there are a bunch of cleanup jobs. Agent history. Okay, distribution agent history. I told you we have one table. Where is that? Distribution agent history. Okay, this, if you have too many distribution agent, for example, you have one publication and you have 100 subscribers or 200 subscribers, right? 200 subscribers means what? 200 distribution agent jobs are running somewhere, either on distributor or on the subscriber, somewhere it's running. If any of all these 200 subscribers, 200 distribution agent jobs will keep logging into this table, so this table can become it can really grow. Okay, so you have to clean up. So how are you going to clean up? Distribution cleanup job, similarly agent history cleanup job. Okay, expired subscription cleanup job. Any subscriptions that are expired, what happens, you see that here, I think there is one option, garbage option. You can see that subscriptions never expire or subscriptions expire. Okay, so subscriptions expire works in conjunction with this. Okay, this is the one actually that does the cleanup. Okay, reinstallation subscriptions have valid replication. I don't know much about this. I have to see what it does. Okay, this is not the replication related stuff. Okay, this is by default it is disabled. I don't know why it is disabled, but I didn't do much research on this job. Okay, but basically there are some cleanup jobs here. You just make sure this is particularly very important. Okay, so you can run it, that's fine. So it will clean up records. Since we didn't pass 72 hours, it didn't clean up anything. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it, the transaction replication. Next we will look into peer-to-peer replication.